Now I'm going to tell you how the fall of Jerusalem and the exile of the people of Judah, as we've read in Jeremiah chapter 39. Jerusalem was attacked by Babylon. And when it was being attacked by Babylon, it was the time of King Zedekiah. So what happened? It took 30 months. For Babylon to take siege of Jerusalem, that is Judah. At first, King Zedekiah resisted. He resisted and fought Babylon, hoping that he was going to get more help from where? From Egypt. But he did not get any help. So his army, the army of now Jerusalem, which is Judah, was starved. And because it was starved, it became weak. So Babylon took siege of Jerusalem. And when they took over of Jerusalem, which is Judah, they made their headquarters Mizpah. They said that they now, when you're explaining about the fall, you say that now they made their headquarters. Now the Babylonians made their headquarters to be Mizpah, and then they chose a new governor of Judah, who was Gedaliah. When they were doing all this, when they were taking on now, when they attacked Babylon and took siege of it, King Zedekiah, because he was the king, he wanted to escape. But he could not. He wanted to escape to a place called Rabath. But he could not. So he was taken, he could not. He was captured. He was captured by Babylon. So he was captured by King Nebuchadnezzar. But Nebuchadnezzar did not order his killing if you read the Bible. He ordered only the killing of the sons of Zedekiah and the officials of Zedekiah. But he took the king. And the king was taken to Babylon, in exile in Babylon, because it's not his land. He's not a king anymore. Because in Babylon, we have a king who is Nebuchadnezzar. He was taken to Babylon. And when he was taken to Babylon, his eyes were gouged out. And he was told to frog march. Most of the time, frog march is whereby you squat and then you walk like a frog. You know how Mr. Zeli tells you to do that. So he was told to do that. He was being ashamed because he was a king. So the whole city was looted. So people stole from people's houses. They looted everything from the city. The temple was destroyed. And then the officials and the people of the middle class and all the other people were taken to exile in Babylon. Now, if you come to Jerusalem, which is now in Judah specifically, the land that was there and the vineyards were given to the poor. And then in all these, Jeremiah was treated well by Nebuchadnezzar. Why he was treated well by Nebuchadnezzar is because he prophesied well about exile. And exile for them was what? Babylon, where the king Nebuchadnezzar was. So that is all about the fall of Jerusalem. So when you talk about the fall of Jerusalem, you have to remember, you have to mention how many months it took for them to take siege of Judah. You have to talk about how they starved the army, where the headquarters was in Mizpah. You have to also talk about the new governor who was Gedaliah. You also have to talk about Nebuchadnezzar. Don't forget to mention all those things. So those are 7 points about the fall of Jerusalem and the exile of the people of Judah. From there, I want us to go to Jeremiah's suffering and lamentation. So how did he suffer? How did he lament? And to talk about suffering and lamentation, we are going to go back to Jeremiah, because now we are talking in general. During his time in Judah, we are going back to chapter 11. We are going to chapter 11, verse 18 to 23. Someone to read. 18 to 23, the Lord.
The Lord made him and was like an evil language, and did not know it was against him that speak, saying, let us escape the evil, let us be off from the land of the living, that this might be remembered no more, but all of the hot food that intelligence hopelessly. O Christ, the earth and the most let me see the wickedness from them, for they have been I committed my cause. Therefore, those things concerning the men.
No, we were going up to verse 18. So in Jeremiah's suffering and lamentation, when he laments, he's whereby someone has a lot of agony. He has a lot of agony, increased agony. So the first, how Jeremiah suffered and lamented was because, number one, because of plot against his life. That is when he suffered. Plot against his life, and that is what we've read. Why was his friends from Anathoth plotted to kill him? His friends from Anathoth, you have to mention, they wanted to kill Jeremiah because of religious, political reasons. Also economic, and they wanted to kill him. What Jeremiah did is pleaded to God for God to take revenge on them. The second way that he suffered and lamented is false accusation. Jeremiah chapter 26, verse 1 to 24.
In the beginning of the reign of King, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, this word came from the Lord. Does that say, the Lord stand in the court of the Lord's house and speak to all the cities of Judah which came to worship in the house of the Lord, all the words that I command you to speak to them. Do not hold back a word. It may be their will. Listen, and everyone turn from his evil way. What I may repent of the evil which I intend to do to them because of their evil doings.
You shall say to them, thus says the Lord, if you will not listen to me, not walk in wrong in which I have set before you. And to write of the words of my servant the prophets whom I sent to you urgently, though you have not heeded. Then I will make this house a shield, and I will make this city a curse for all the nations of the earth.
The priest and the prophet and all the people heard Jeremiah speaking these words in the house of the Lord. And when Jeremiah had finished speaking that the Lord had commanded him to speak for all the people, then the priest and the prophet and all the people laid hold of him, saying, You shall die. I have him prophesied in the name of the Lord, saying, This house shall be like Shiloh, and the city shall be desolate, without inhabitant. And all the people gathered about Jeremiah in this house of the Lord. When the princes of Judah heard these things, they came up from the king's house to the house of the Lord and took their seats in the entry of the new gate of the Lord, house of the Lord.
And the priest and the prophet said to the princes and to all the people, This man deserves the sentence of death, because he has prophesied against the city, as you have heard with your own ears.
Now therefore amend yourselves and obey the voice of the Lord your God, and the Lord will repent of the evil which he has pronounced against you.
But as for me, behold, I am in your hands. Do with me as seems good and right to you. Only know for certain that if you put me to death, you will bring innocent blood upon yourselves and upon this city and its inhabitants, for it pleased the Lord send me to you to speak all these words in your ear. And the leaders and all the people said to the priest and the prophet, This man has not deserved the sentence of death, for he was taught
And certain of the elders of the land arose and spoke to all the assembled people.
Of the elders of the land arose and spoke to all the assembled people, saying,
Micah of Nazareth prophesied in the days of Hezekiah king of Judah, and said to the people of Judah, Thus says the Lord of hosts, Zion shall be worthless at first, Jerusalem shall become a heap of ruins, and the mountain of the house are withered. Did Hezekiah king of Judah and all Judah put him to death? Did he not hear the Lord and entreat the favor of the Lord, and did not the Lord repent of the evil which he had pronounced against them? But we are about to bring great evil upon ourselves.
There was another man who prophesied in the name of the Lord. The Lord
And when King Joachim with all his warriors and all the princes heard this word, the king thought to put him to death. But when Uriah heard of it, he was afraid and fled and escaped to Egypt. Then King Joachim sent to Egypt certain men, and Hagan the son of Jacob, and other people.
And he fetched Uriah from Egypt and brought him to King Joachim, who slew him with the sword and cast his dead body into the burial place of the common people.
But the hand of the son of Shaphan was with Jeremiah, so that he was not given to the people to be put.
So how he suffered is there was false accusation. Jeremiah was accused of blasphemy. He was accused of blasphemy because he was prophesying the destruction of the temple. He was also accused of being a traitor. Because the people of Judah said that they thought that he was joining the Babylonians to fight the people of Judah. And remember, this was false. He was just prophesying that they will be taken to where? To exile. So that was the second suffering, false accusation. There was also mockery by his people. So it was his people mocked him that his prophecies had not been fulfilled. Everything that he had prophesied had not been fulfilled. So this we read in Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 14 to 18. We continue. The next person. Heal me, O Lord.
Heal me, O Lord, and I shall be healed. Save me, and I shall be saved. Thou art my grace.
Continue 15.
Behold, they say to me, Where is this word of the Lord? Let it come. I have not pressed thee to send me. No, I by desired the day of disaster. Thou knowest that which came out of my lips was before thy face.
Be not as the therapist, that my refuge in the great captivity. Let those be put to shame who persecute me, but let me not be put to shame. Let them be dismayed, but let me not be dismayed. Bring upon them in the day of evil, destroy them with double destruction.
So here we're saying that his people were mocking him, that his prophecies had not been fulfilled. Then number 4, he experienced isolation and loneliness. He was lonely because of what God had told him to do, that he was not supposed to have a family or children. So he was lonely. But what happened is God encouraged him. God encouraged him. And this is on chapter 15, Jeremiah 15, 10 to 21.
What is me, a man, that you bore me, a man has changed and foundation to the whole land. I have not left, nor have I borrowed, yet all of them that
So let it be also. If I have not rejected things of judge, if I have not prayed with thee of behalf of the enemy in the time of trouble and in the time of distress.
So, cannot break iron from the yoke of bronze.
If you are willing to be pressure, I will give. That is also because below for the elder, I will make you serve the enemies in a land which you do not know for I. For in my end, ever I will give you shall not fail.
O Lord, thou knowest, remember me and punish me, and stretch me vigorous for me on my refusals. If light for forgiveness take me not away, Lord, that for thy sake I bear reproach.
The word were found, and I ate them, and the words became to me a joy, and the delight of my heart. For I am called by the name, O Lord, God of hosts.
I did not sit in the company of the letters, nor did I relate. I sat alone because thy heart was upon me. For thou hast filled me with indignation. Why is my pain unceasing, my wound incurable? The prison to be filled, which thou did with me like a deceitful brook, like water sent to.
Therefore, thus saith the Lord, if you will grant I will restore you, and you shall find me before me, if you will grant what is precious, and not what is worthless, you shall be as my snow. They shall stand to you, that you shall not stand to them, and I will make you to this people, and what fight word of blood. They will fight against you, but they shall not return over you, for I am with you to save you and to deliver you, says the Lord. I will deliver you out of the hands of the sickness, and redeem you from the grasp of the ruthless.
So there we are saying that another suffering is that Jeremiah experienced isolation and loneliness because he was not supposed to even attend any funerals or any gatherings. But God encouraged him. So number 5 is torture by Pasha. And Pasha was a false priest. He was a priest. What Pasha did is he beat him up and then he locked him. He locked him because he was saying everything that was prophesying was wrong. He was saying that whatever judgment, he wanted to silence Jeremiah because he said he rejected the preaching. He rejected any preaching of Jeremiah. What Jeremiah told him is that he pronounced judgment to his friends and family. That is to Pasha, the priest. He prophesied that his friends, his friends and family, they will be taken to exile. And he also prophesied that Pasha, who was the priest, will be taken to exile in Babylon, and then he will die and be buried in where? In Babylon. That's why even Pasha was rejecting all his preaching. That's why he beat him up and he locked him up. So we read this in Jeremiah chapter 20, verse 1 to 6.
in the king, Jeremiah said to him, but the Lord does not call me king of the darkness, but tell on the evil side.
So that is the Lord. Behold, I will make you ashamed to yourself and to all your friends. They shall fall by the sword of their enemies while you look on. And I will give all Judah into the hand of King of Babylon. He shall carry them captive to Babylon, and shall slay them with the sword.
Moreover, I will give all the wealth of the city, all these things, all these fine belongings, and all the treasures of the king of Judah into the hand of their enemies, who shall plunder them and sell them and carry them to Babylon.
And you, Pasha, and all who dwell in your house shall go into captivity to the land you shall go, and there you shall die, and there you shall be buried, you and all your friends to whom you have prophesied against.
My son, umezaliwa peke yako? You're born alone in your family, right? Oh, thank you. Now, Pasha the priest. I'm going to repeat again. He was tortured by Pasha. Jeremiah was tortured by Pasha the priest. What happened is that Pasha the priest was rejecting all the preachings of Jeremiah. And because Jeremiah continued preaching, he beat him up and then he put him in a what? What does the Bible say? Where was it put? Where was he put? In a stocks. In stocks, right? When he was put in the stocks, later he was released. When he was released, he pronounced judgment to Pasha the priest. He said that his family and friends will be done what? Will be killed, right? And then him, Pasha the priest, will be taken to where? To exile, where he will be what? He will die and be buried there. Then there was also imprisonment of Jeremiah. He was imprisoned. And in prison he was beaten. But later you'll find out that he was rescued by King Zedekiah. Zedekiah rescued him and took him to court of the guard. Can we read that in Jeremiah chapter 37, verse 11 to 21? 37, 11 to 21. The Chaldean army.
Withdraw from Jerusalem at the approach of Pharaoh's army.
Jeremiah set out from Jerusalem to go to the land of Benjamin to receive his blessing. There among the people, while he was at the Benjamin gate, sentry there named Ahijah, the son of Shelemiah, son of Ananiah, said, Jeremiah the prophet said, you are deserting to the.
And Jeremiah said, it falls, I am not deserting to the children, but they will not listen to him, and seized Jeremiah and brought him to the king.
And the princes were arranged and Jeremiah, and they were beating and imprisoning him in the house of the Benjamin, the president, for each had been made a prison.
And Jeremiah came to the dungeon cells, and he lived there many days. So Zedekiah sent for him and received him. The king questioned him secretly in his house and said, Is there anyone from the Lord? Jeremiah said, There is. Then he said, He will be delivered into the hand of King of Babylon. Jeremiah also said to King Zedekiah, What wrong have I done to you or your servants or these people, that you have to put me in prison? Where are your prophets who prophesied to you, saying, The king of Babylon will not come against you and against this land?
Now yes, I pray, oh my Lord, the King, let me publicly come before you, and do not send me back to the one of Jonathan, the president. Let's hide right here.
So King Zedekiah arose, and they committed Jeremiah in the court of the guard, and the fruit of them were given with him there from them, they fasted, and took out the bread as the city was brought. So Jeremiah remained in the court of the guard.
I said he remained. Then he was thrown in a cistern. Cistern is whereby after you go to the toilet or latrine where the trash goes to. You know where the feces go to? That is a cistern. Mahali kinyesi kinaenda cha mtu. So, Jeremiah was thrown in a cistern because of what he was prophesying. And remember, in the cistern he suffered because there was no water. Then later, Abimelech pleaded with the king. He pleaded with King Zedekiah, who took him out of the what? Cistern, and took him still to the court of yard. So we continue there. Chapter 8, verse 1 to... Chapter 38, verse 1 to 13. We continue there. How he was thrown into the cistern. Verse 1 to 18. 13, sorry. Now Shephatiah.
The son of Matthew, Judah, the son of Pastor, Jokel, the son of Jeremiah, and Pastor, the son of Jeremiah, the words that Jeremiah was saying to all the people.
That said the Lord, he who stays in this city shall die by the sword, by famine, and by pestilence. But he who goes out of the Chaldeans shall live. He shall have his life as a prize of war and life.
Thus they say the Lord, this city shall surely be given into the hand of the king of the Lord.